Good evening and welcome to another evening of hand football here on Madison Community TV. Chris Wallach with Hal Levy for game number 7 of the 1984 football season. It's the 5-1 Hand Tigers against the 1-5 Morgan Huskies. With me tonight, Hal Levy, and thanks, Hal, for being my partner for the last few weeks. Hope you'll continue to do a great job.
Chris, it's great. I've really enjoyed this a whole lot. It's funny, I'll tell you, I was looking in the paper this morning, and 159 years ago today, the Erie Canal opened. And this morning I was looking outside, and I thought it was going to get diverted to Madison. But right now, it's turned out to be a pretty nice night. Nice, warm, comfortable, not a whole lot of rain around. Maybe we have a good football game.
And we're set to go. Thompson hits it down to about the 15. Maher fields it there over the 20. Pickett slips down, 25. Up to about the 28-yard line. Morgan will have their first possession of the evening, opening seconds of game number 7. And Hal, I know you know a little bit about the Morgan Huskies.
Morgan is coached by a brand new guy, Dick Riley, who had been an assistant coach at the University of Connecticut and then did a year at Wesleyan, took a year off, and has come down here for the first time and is trying to instill something brand new into this particular football team, which lost a whole lot of people last year.
And a give on the first play, straight ahead for no gain.
Teddy LeMay is going to be the ball carrier, I imagine, on a whole lot of plays tonight. Ted, about 6'1", 200 pounds, senior, has moved in to become the premier football player for the Morgan team with the injury to Patrick Hedge, who broke a couple of vertebrae in his back, and right now is at a point where he's walking, came out for the coin toss, but will not play again.
Second down, 9. They'll give LeMay 1 on first down. LeMay once again, ball carrier. Flags are down. He bulls his way up to about the 30.
I think you're either going to have motion or procedure on the backside on that play. But Ted LeMay is a very legitimate football player. He is going to be the kind of guy who's going to be a thorn in the side of the Tigers all night long, in terms not only of his offense, but in terms also of his play at linebacker defensively. He is the kind of guy who makes the big hits, makes the big plays, is a very, very tough guy. And this is a biggie against Morgan. Rather than the 5-yard penalty I thought it was going to be, apparently the officials saw holding on the backside, and they're going to call it a 15-yard penalty rather than a 5.
Interesting enough, also tonight we have Gerald Carden starting, and he's a freshman.
Jerry Carden is a freshman. He is part of a very, very good freshman class at Morgan. This is a team that is like, go back to the Scott Schweitzer, Jimmy Bell team as a freshman at hand. This team apparently has that same potential. We got a fumble right here. I think Hand's going to come up with the football.
That was a second down play and 24 for Morgan.
Apparently Morgan did cover off. Dave Panagrossi, the center, I think fell on the ball eventually.
There's a loss of the play back to the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 27.
But Morgan is young, and Dick Riley is going to take this team. He's going to maybe take a couple of years to put it together, but at the end of that particular period of time, you're going to be looking at a junior-senior dominated ball club, which is going to be very good and is maybe going to be a state contender in a couple of years, I would have a tendency to think.
Well, we saw some good freshmen today as the Morgan freshmen beat the Hand freshmen by a score of 21-0. Maher in motion, fake up the middle, rolling left. That's the quarterback, Selmont. Crosses the 10, 15, running room. Thompson drives him out of bounds at about the 18.
Just Selmont doesn't have what you would call a cannon for an arm by any means. As a matter of fact, I think he's thrown more passes to opponents than he has to his own teammates over the course of the year. I think it's something like 12 completions for Morgan and 14 interceptions. He does run the ball well. He's a hustler. He works hard. He's a senior who's getting his chance to play. But you're not going to look for him to put the ball up real often, really successfully.
LeMay standing at his own 5 through the booting. 9 almost blocks it. And the ball goes out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Did not get a first down out of it. Bad punt, came off the side of his foot, did not take a good Morgan roll, bounced right out of bounds. And the Tigers are sitting there with a chance to do what Larry Ciotti said they had to do, which was to establish something early. Larry is a little bit worried that maybe after last week's problems with Middletown, that the Tigers might be a tad down. This is a team where the seniors have never, since their freshman year, been beaten in a regular season game. What do they do to come back?
First possession of the evening for the Tigers, 36-yard line, I formation. Thompson gives the ball to Piggott. Flags are down. There was movement on the line of scrimmage.
You're going to find encroachment. You're going to find encroachment on Morgan. But that was a little bit encouraging because Kevin Piggott had a little bit of a hole there. And this is something he has worked very hard on all week. Larry feels that right now what's happening is that a lot of opponents are saying, okay, we're going to deny the pass. We're going to say to you, we're doubling everybody up. We're going to make it very difficult for you to pass. You've got to establish a run. And one of the things that he had a little bit of problem with last week was run blocking. They worked very, very hard on this week in practice. Let's see what happens with it.
First down 5, Tigers. Slot left. Thompson fake. Looking long. Got Nye wide open. Nobody within 10 yards of him. And bingo with a beautiful over-the-shoulder catch. Touchdown, Tigers.
Something broke down. And all of a sudden, there was Timmy Nye. A little bit of play fake in the line. Again, maybe Morgan thinking about that same kind of thing. And Timmy Nye didn't have anybody within 10 yards of him when the ball was thrown. Thompson put it up where he had to, which is to lead Nye into the end zone so that even if anybody got back, there was no way anybody was going to make a play on that ball. Timmy Nye went up 6'5", reached up, made a catch, took the ball in stride. He could have run for a mile and a half.
2.5 minutes into the ball game. The Tigers put 6 on the board. Simmons in to try the point after. Sullivan's hold is good, and the kick is good.
Interesting thing there very quickly is that Morgan got absolutely no rush. There was a high snap. He had to come down with the plant, and there was still nobody within striking distance of the ball. Dennis had time to keep his head down, get a good plant, get a good kick, and bang it up through.
So 9:31 to go first quarter. Tigers quickly onto the board, 7-0. Some changes tonight, Hal. A couple of injuries on the part of the Tigers. I see Dave Millard and Kevin Hughes starting on the offensive line.
Yeah, a number of injuries, as a matter of fact. Dan's sitting here basically with 6-7 changes in lineup. A couple of things Coach Larry Ciani wanted to try tonight, a variety of injuries, nothing tremendously debilitating, but in a situation where it's better to keep somebody out. You know, Jim McGoey, for example, they're not sure whether he has a concussion or whether he's concocted what Larry said was one of the 200 forms of virus that's running around the town of Madison right now. You know, a couple of other, Billy Leckie is dressed but not playing. Bob Hughes with a little bit of an eye injury is going to take a rest offensively tonight.
LeMay fields the kick from Thompson and stumbles down at about the 29. Chris Bryce in on the tackle, and there's another slight injury. Chris Bryce not getting the start tonight. Dennis Simmons at fullback.
Right, Dennis Simmons coming in at fullback. Chris has had a little bit of a problem with the neck muscle, and so he's seeing a little bit of limited playing time. And Dennis Simmons also has been running very well and maybe deserves his shot to get in there. We're also seeing Kevin Hughes come into the line to replace Jim McGoey tonight, and so that's going to carry on a tradition of the Hughes family of producing outstanding offensive linemen at hand. We have a fumble here.
Ted LeMay, the ball carrier, fumbled the ball when it was recovered by Morgan at about the 31-yard line. Morgan's second possession of the evening.
Dave Campanero, number 84, 6'1", 185-pound junior tight end, is the guy who came up with the football there for about a 3-yard gain.
And Dave Green, who had been injured for the last several weeks, is now into the ball game. Number 60 at left tackle. Jess Selmont's the cornerback. That's Maher in motion. LeMay now in the tailback position. It's by Vibert on the left side and stumbles forward to about the 35.
Stopped by Dennis Simmons and Dave Thompson at the 35.
Thompson on the tackle.
Gain of 4.
And Robbie Vibert getting a start tonight for Rob Pignataro, who has been in that position for a couple weeks.
Also the nose, change in the nose, Todd Vince.
Right. Todd Vince coming in, Bob Hughes coming out to the tackle for Justin Murphy tonight. Todd, a 6', 175-pound sophomore wearing number 76.
4 yards for a first down. Power eye right, now in motion, that's Maher, right to left. The pitch goes left. That's LeMay. Slips down once again after he crossed the 35 up to about the 37, about 3 short of a first down.
That was a problem we saw a little bit last week with people starting to slip a little bit on cuts. And again, the fact that it did rain somewhat, you know, certainly had probably close to an inch over the last 24 hours. Maybe makes the field a little bit slippery, although it looks in pretty good shape, seems to have held the water fairly well.
Thompson go deep for a man.
LeMay does the punting. Piggott and Thompson dropping deep. Low snap. What a nice punt. Piggott will field it about the 35. They set the wall up to the left side. Piggott needs to beat one man. He does. Nice block by Simmons. Piggott left side. Taken out of bounds hard by number 51, Chuck Fritz.
Bobby Hughes also threw a real nice block on the backside on that play. Dennis Simmons got the first block, and then Bobby Hughes got the block right on the corner that allowed him to come upfield for about 15 yards on that play.
Second possession of the evening for the Tigers, and good field position once again, just shy of midfield. Ball at 1st and 10 from the 49-yard line. Ciotti leads him to the line. I formation. Sullivan now goes wide right. Duncanson left. Nye tight right. Simmons and Piggott in the backfield. Simmons hands off right side. Piggott dragged down at the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle for Morgan, number 61, Dave Penegrosi.
Right, Dave Penegrosi, a senior. He's been around. He's played a lot of football against Hand over the course of years. And as you know, Morgan always gets up for this particular football game. And Dave Penegrosi's been around a long time. He knows what it's like to play in this game.
Second down 10, Tigers. Thompson checking out the defense. Fakes the ball to Piggott, now rolls right, being pressured. Throws off balance, complete to Nye. Inside the 40, and Nye goes out of bounds to the 37.
He's got a first down. David Thompson threw that ball on the run, maybe as well as he's thrown a ball on the run all year. He had a lot of composure, a lot of presence, even though he was getting real good pressure. Found Timmy Nye along the sideline and just put the ball right there. There wasn't any situation of throwing the ball short or throwing the ball long or anything else. It was bing, bing, first down.
And already we're seeing a different Tiger offense really clicking nicely as opposed to some of the past weeks where they really haven't got rolling in the first half.
No, last 2 weeks they've had problems in the first half. And there's a big
left
gainer.
Side, big gainer, up over the 20 to about the 19 as Piggott stumbled down over there on the tackle. Ryan Dalton, number 82.
Dave Campanaro, number 84, was the guy who eventually made the play on that. But again, the blocking was there, the hole was there. Kevin Piggott found it, and he's a key to this ballgame. Kevin Piggott gets 100 yards. Hand has the ball for even 45 to 50% of the time. Tigers win.
Kind of the Tony Dorsett, Dallas Cowboys syndrome. When
To
he
a
rushes
certain-
for over 100, they win most games.
To a certain degree, that's the case.
Thompson sends 2 receivers right, sprints that way behind Simmons and Piggott blocking. Thompson can't find him. He comes left. Lots of running room.
He may have a
15,
TD.
10, 5, one man to beat. Thompson hurdles him and goes in for the touchdown.
Fairly impressive play. Jess Selmont, number 16, was the guy who had a shot to stop him. The quarterback from Morgan was playing safety defensively. And David Thompson that time, Hand had problems with this play last week against Middletown. They were running that sprint out. They had they were keeping Piggott and Simmons or Chris Bryce in the block. Last week Middletown defensive ends were splitting it, and this time they took off the defensive end, and all of a sudden he had the opposite side totally and completely clear. Bingo, touchdown.
Simmons on to try the extra point. 5:45 to go. Simmons' kick is blocked.
That time Morgan did not have problems getting through at all. And Frank McDermott, number 74, came right up the middle. Hand again had a high snap. Simmons last time, as we said, didn't get any pressure whatsoever. Had time to set it up and kick it. This time they got a little bit of pressure, and McDermott came through and just nailed the ball right in that big number 74.
5:45 left first quarter. It's the Hand Tigers 13, Morgan Huskies nothing, and quite a bit different than last year's game where the Morgan Huskies jumped out front with 9 first half points, and then the Tigers came back to score 50 consecutive points.
Right, Hand eventually woke up in that ball game, but Morgan certainly gave the Tigers a scare early in that contest. Or, for that matter, the game 2 years ago, Chris, which was Jimmy Bell's first game back. coming off the broken ankle, ran for 100 yards, but it took a David Thompson to Scott Schweitzer touchdown pass late in the first half to put the Tigers in front in that one.
Right. Greg Maher is deep. Thompson kicks it.
We have offside.
About the 12, flags are down.
I think we're going to have an offside on hand, which is one of those things you see called about once a century. I believe somebody on the right side, maybe second or third man in on the right side.
I believe it was Chris Bryce, 32.
And is
May have been
guilty of
offsides on
encroachment
that.
the kickoff. He'll be penalized 5 yards and will re-kick.
It's one of those things that you never see officials call. I'll tell you, I went up and watched Connecticut play Holy Cross last Saturday because there were 4 Madison kids in the football game. We had 2 Murphys and Greg Morrison and Scott Schweitzer all playing, and Holy Cross kicked off all day to Connecticut in a 41-0 ball game. And I don't think Holy Cross had a legal kickoff all day long. But the officials never called it. Holy Cross, I believe, kicked off 6 times in that football game, and the officials never called the offside at all. They don't call that play.
Murphy had a good day tackling.
He had a great day. 10 tackles, 7 assists, and 2 pass breakups. Had a super ball game.
Thompson will do it this time from the 35. And the ball will come down at about the 20-yard line. Running right. And Piggott and Wynoski over there to take down Brian Dalton.
24. Kevin Piggott and Tim Wynoski combined for the start.
Morgan will try to get something rolling here on offense. Their 3rd possession of the evening, 5:37 to go, first quarter.
Huskies have had some problems scoring points all year long. The last 2 games, they've scored 38 out of the 58 points they've scored all year. They had 25 in their only win of the year, and then they had another 13 last week and a loss.
LeMay, the ball carry over the right side, taken down by Dennis Simmons at about the 28-yard line.
All right, Kevin Piggott also coming over. Teddy LeMay seems to lack one thing. He's got strength. He's a bull. But he doesn't seem to have that quick break, the first 2 steps that you need to be able to break a big play every so often. He's your basic power runner who's been pressed into service as a tailback because of the loss of Patrick Hedge, who was a very, very fine football player.
Selma is the quarterback. Maher in motion. Straight eye now. Give LeMay once again, left side, over the 30, up to about the 32-yard line, short of the first down.
Big play right here from Morgan to try to sustain something, maybe pick up the initial first down of the ball game for the Huskies. We talk about Pat Hedge, and he's just another one of the captains that we've seen gone this year. We saw the same thing at North Branford. Very, very encouraging sign for the Tigers. Tony Ricciardi went out tonight to take the coin toss in uniform. He probably will not play next week, but is expected back to be able to start offensively against Xavier, and that is great news for Tiger fans.
All right, they go that way, Maher. And he'll be hit hard up close to the first down, but I believe it'll be short. And speaking of players and speaking of speed, of course, besides Pat Hedge, we have to remember, too, that the Morgan Husky team would have had Billy Leckie.
Certainly would have. Billy, unfortunately, is in a position where he's not going to be able to play very much, if at all, tonight. Still nursing that leg injury, and he's dressed, but is not expected to play tonight.
That's got to hurt against your former teammates. I'm sure
you'd love to get into that ball game.
Morgan was short. LeMay, he'll fake it. The pass goes downfield. It'll be intercepted by Thompson. He crosses the 40-35, cuts back toward the sideline, and stumbles down at about the 19-yard line.
Frank McDermott eventually knocked him out of bounds. Heck of a play by David Thompson. Interesting play by Morgan. Huskies down 13-0. Dick Riley says, might as well let it hang out a little bit. Let's try it. He overthrew, and David Thompson came back, made the play, coming back from the standpoint where he was going to be running back a punt. Smelled it and came back to make the play.
And why not? You're down 13-0. You're 1-5 on the year. You're
hang it out. Hang it out. Why not? Got no problems with that at all.
Tigers from just inside the 20. Piggott up the middle, and he's tripped up and falls forward for a couple.
Frank McDermott, number 74, first man to make the hit there. Along with 61, David Panagrossi. Right now, Tigers are in a position that they wanted to be in this ball game. Get the early lead, get the jump. Now you got to make Morgan play catch-up football. The Huskies just don't have the weapons to play catch-up.
Second down 8. Thompson rolls right on the square out. That's Duncanson. Tries to sidestep. Maher falls forward to about the 12.
Greg Maher, sophomore, 5'6", 135 pounds, but I know, Chris, you saw him a little bit in baseball last spring. Son of a gun is a great leadoff hitter because he got up there, and if he didn't take a walk, he bunted, and if he got on base, he was going to steal on you because he has got tremendous, tremendous speed.
I believe he made second team all Shoreline and designated hitter as a freshman.
Right.
Thompson sprinting left, looking in the end zone, in the corner for Sullivan, and not even close.
Sullivan is overthrown, bringing up 4th and 2.
Again, there you saw the situation of Morgan double teaming. Sully was being double teamed that time. Selmont was there, along with number 32, Jerry Carden, the freshman. And Scott Duncanson broke a pattern across the middle, and he was also being double teamed. This is what Morgan is going to be basically doing to try to force Hand into that situation, maybe of running with the football and trying to deny David Thompson the quick score.
4th down. A couple yards to go for the Tigers. They show power right for the first time this evening. Thompson fumbles the snap, tries to come forward, won't do it, and the Morgan Husky defense will have held here for the first time this evening.
And once again, David Panagrossi and Dave Campanero there to make the stop on the play. Panagrossi doing a very nice job so far, being in on a lot of tackles. That's a situation Tigers decided to disdain the field goal, go for the 6, 4th and 2 from 12-yard line. You know, maybe those points come back to haunt you. Maybe in this position you figure might as well drive the final nail into the coffin early.
Morgan takes over in what seems like a long first quarter. Still about 1:40 to go. Ball carrier, can't see him, it's probably LeMay. He's been doing most of the running thus far in the first quarter. And he'll get up to about the 15 for a pickup of about 3. 2nd and 7 coming up.
Teddy LeMay again getting up off the bottom of the pile. He's the guy who's been doing the job. Thus far, Tigers have looked very, very strong defensively in terms of stopping Ted LeMay on the 2 3-yard gainers instead of the 4 5-yard gainers that he needs.
2nd down. Send 2 receivers split. Wojnowski goes out with Maher on the left side. And the give us to LeMay left side. He'll pick up a couple more yards. Bring up 3rd and 5.
The ball carrier. Tackle made by Todd Vince. Gain of 3 to the 18. It'll be 3rd and 4.
Couple new numbers in there to look at tonight, but Todd Vince, number 76, playing at that nose guard spot. Sophomore, 6 foot, 175 pounder, was in the middle of that play, along with Timmy Nye getting a little bit of action there.
3rd down, they're going to call it a long 4 here. Once again, they send 2 receivers split, 1 left, 1 right, pro set backfield. Long count. Selmont did not get it off in time, I don't
No,
believe.
I believe he's going to go 5 yards the wrong way.
Flag stops the play. Delay of game penalty against Morgan. He'll be penalized 5 yards back to the 13.
Situation with the Huskies when they split those 2 guys out. It took a couple of seconds for people to get out and get set, and then he had maybe a little bit of a long snap count. Possibly trying to set up a situation of drawing somebody offside and wound up working in reverse.
So instead of 3rd and a long 4, it'll be 3rd and about 9 for the Huskies. Final seconds of the first quarter, 5 seconds to go. Selman may not get this one off. Does with 1 second left. LeMay tries right side, slips through a couple tackers. And finally, after about 7 or 8 Tigers hit him, taken down. Wojnowski getting off the bottom of the pile.
Strong run by Ted LeMay. Did a nice job of finding a hole, cutting it up inside. That play was designated to go off tackle and come outside. He saw the hole inside, made the nice cut to come up, got hit, and then banged it forward far enough to get what appears to be a 1st down.
Great second effort from the bull of the Morgan Husky offense thus far, Ted LeMay. And with the second quarter just moments away, they switch ends. It's the Tigers 13 and the Huskies nothing. 1st and 10, Huskies, 24-yard line. They give us to Maher, right side. Nye takes him down at about the 25. Pick up of a couple.
Timmy Nye coming out and making the kind of play that we've come to expect from him in the last several weeks, defensively, certainly. Interesting, Chris, not a whole lot of people here tonight. I'm surprised because generally Han Morgan draws a little bit better than this. Maybe the weather kept the crowd down a little bit, and perhaps the Huskies' 1-5 record had a little bit to do with it, too.
Probably a combination of the two. Ball resting at about the 25-yard line. Second down and 8. Power eye to the right. They come back with the counter left. And I believe that's Carden with his
Jerry Carden.
Carry.
Jerry Carden, the freshman, gets his first carry of the night and picked up about 3-4 yards on the play. He's a good-sized young man. You know, he's a freshman, but he's 5'10", 170 pounds. He's built well enough to be able to take it.
Third down and about 4.5 yards for the Huskies, who I don't believe have had a first down up to this point.
Morgan, no, they did. They did just have the one by LeMay. That's a big play right here.
So they'd be looking for their second first down of this evening. Second quarter action, a couple minutes into it. And they try a dump to the tight end, Lou Campanero.
That's a problem Morgan's had all year. It's just an inability to click with the passes. It's something that you just kind of shake your head over because there's not too much you can do about it at this point in the season. But it has set up the punt once again for the Huskies. Teddy LeMay back to punt, and Thompson back along with Piggott.
LeMay gets it off. It's a high one. Piggott fumbles the ball at the 42, able to fall on it back at the 39. And the Tigers, luckily, will keep possession on the fumble punt by Kevin Piggott. Loss of about 3 yards on the fumble there.
Fine instinctive play there by David Thompson. Instead of going back and worrying about the football, he blocked the first man down, who was Jess Selma on that play. Morgan's quarterback and defensive back, and obviously fairly quick guy. Thompson took him out of the play and gave Piggott time to go back and fall on the football.
Tigers quick out of the huddle. High formation. Thompson to Piggott, right side, tripped up by number 77 for the Huskies, Chris Saunders. And Piggott stumbled forward for a pickup of about 3 yards. Second and 7, Tigers.
It'll be playing at that left linebacker spot. Talking to Dick Riley today, and Dick's comment on him was he's got a good nose for the football, and he certainly showed it on that play, reaching up to make the play even though he'd gotten blocked.
Sullivan comes to the right, Duncanson to the left. Thompson play action, being pursued. He'll have to eat it back at the 33-yard line. 3 or 4 Huskies surrounded Thompson on that one, and he was forced to go down.
All right, Campanero, the first guy there, and he had a couple of things to say to David Thompson while he was down on the ground, sort of a semi-Mark Gastineau. Third and 16, I think we can maybe look for the gun.
3rd and 16. Well,
no, they don't go to it.
See it. We may, in fact, though, see the pass. Thompson will sprint left. Forced out of the pocket now. Running Thompson to Sullivan, who ran it out and then down. And Sullivan catches the ball at about the 36-yard line.
And the official fell down about the 47-yard line. He's just getting up. David Thompson and Matt Sullivan both with outstanding athletic feats on that play. Thompson going right to left, stopped. That time he squared up his shoulders, which is something David said he'd been having some problems with early in the season. Squared him up, threw the ball downfield, and Matt Sullivan made an acrobatic catch. Came down with the ball and then couldn't regain his balance afterwards, but did a nice job. Thompson hit him open, and Sullivan made a fine catch of the football. Tigers first down.
They give us to Piggott, right side, behind Millard, and Murphy now cuts back and falls forward to about the 31-yard line. Didn't look like much on the right side, but Pickett managing to get about 4 out of the play.
Kevin did a nice job there. Got a good block from good block from Murph. Good block from the sophomore David Millard, who's not what you'd call real big at 5'6", 145 pounds, but he came out there and stretched his body out and knocked somebody out of the way and turned that into a little bit of a game.
Dave Millard at right guard, tough-nosed young player. Sullivan is in the slot right, Duncanson left. Quick hitter to Simmons, breaks 3 or 4 tackles, finally taken down by Maher, but not until after he crossed the 20 down to about the 18-yard line.
Reminds you of an older Simmons who maybe did a little bit of that at one point or another here.
Kevin Simmons.
Yes, certainly did. That time Dennis showed some real fine balance, took the quick hitter, got the hole very quickly up the middle, bounced off a couple people, just beat up a couple people physically, and ran for a nice 12-yard gain.
And a Tiger first down, 1st and 10, ball at the 18. 13-0 Tigers, 7 minutes to go in the half.
Same play.
Again, it's Simmons the ball carrier, this time up to about the 15-yard line.
And Tigers are going to work on that a little bit. That's a situation of maybe taking a bit of pressure off Kevin Pickett by working that quick hitter. And if you'll also notice, if you're looking at formations, Dennis Simmons is lining up maybe a yard and a half closer to the line of scrimmage than the Tigers fullback normally does in the eye. And that is to give that quick hitter an opportunity to work, give the lineman a chance to just knock somebody back with an initial hit, and then get him there quicker, because he doesn't have the real quick feet, but once he gets going, he's tough to bring down.
Scott Palladino checks into the ball game. Thompson sprints left, looks for Palladino. No, he's got Sullivan in the end zone for the touchdown. Carton trying to cover Sullivan, never saw a pass coming.
Sully did a nice job on that. He faked going a little bit, came back to meet the football, which is what a good pass receiver does. He is just a tremendously versatile football player. I don't think he ever gets enough credit for what he does. He can play any position on the football team. I'll bet you if you put him in at guard, he'd still do a great job.
Sure, and he'd probably start at quarterback for most teams.
He certainly would.
Tigers score once again on they've now scored on 3 of their first 4 possessions of the evening, 6:36 to go. Here in the first half, and Simmons' extra point is wobbly, but it has enough distance.
Yeah, he about had enough on that, I'll tell you what. There's little cross piece there, and I don't think he made too much over that. But again, he had little problems. There was a little problem getting the snap down and set. And it maybe messed up the timing just a tad.
So 6:36 to go, first half. Tigers bouncing back nicely thus far after their 28-7 loss to Middletown last week. It's the Tigers 20, Hannah Morgan Huskies nothing. Will do the kicking. Weisbrock, whichever you prefer. 23-yard line. Brian Dalton fielded it at. Turns the corner to the 29-yard line.
And out there to make the play, number 62, David Millard.
Dave Millard, number 62, knocks him out of bounds at the 29.
Interesting that the Tigers went to John Weisbrock this early. Maybe Larry Ciotti starting to throw a couple second-teamers in here and there already, and we're still in the first half of this football game.
1st and 10, Huskies at the 34-yard line. They show the power eye, strong right, same formation almost every play. Maher right side, slips through a couple people, gets out over the 35. Host of hand tacklers there to take him down at about the 36.
Ash Edwards, number 52, in on the hit, along with number 76 for the Tigers, who is
Todd Vince.
Todd Vince. I got to memorize that one. I haven't gotten that one down yet. I was sitting there trying to figure, wait a minute now, that's not who I thought it was.
Pickup of 7, so it'll be a 2nd and 3 for the Huskies. Now they split wide receivers to the right and left. Split backfield. Selmont sprints left's got running room over the 40. Sullivan and Thompson there. Sullivan hits him hard, takes him out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. First down, Huskies.
I'll tell you, the key on that play was a block thrown by number 5, Teddy LeMay, who basically is a fullback. Again, you know, we have to emphasize the fact that Patrick Hedge not playing, that Teddy LeMay has had to step into that tailback spot and do it. Teddy LeMay is an outstanding high school fullback. And he showed it on that play by throwing the block on the defensive end that sprung that play loose.
So the Huskies moving the ball upfield a bit, a couple yards shy of midfield.
If they cross, it'll be the first time all night.
First and 10, 47-yard line. And the misdirection goes to Carden, I believe.
Jerry Carden about carry was stopped near midfield.
Yes, it was. Jerry Carden, number 32, gets his second carry of the night. Dennis Simmons getting off the bottom of the pile, and Morgan has penetrated into the hand territory for the first time all night.
49-yard line, second down 7. 5 minutes exactly to go in the first half of football here. Game number 7 of the '84 season. It's the 1-5 Huskies and the 5-1 Tigers. 20-0 the score at this point. The Tigers in front. Split backfield. Going to give us to LeMay left side. And he's tripped up close to the 45-yard line. Simmons in there along with Ebert and Ash Edwards.
Right, and that time it was just your basic straight-ahead power play coming inside. A play that Teddy LeMay is going to run well for you, and he did it there.
Chris Hevesy now into the ball game at defensive end, I believe, taking the place of Timmy Nye, who puts the headphones on down at the sideline. Steve Philippone conferring with him about something. Third down 4. Maher comes in motion. Pitch goes to LeMay. He slips by Wynoski, tries to get outside, dragged down by Piggott. Very close to first down yardage. Appears to be just a bit short.
Right, Kevin Piggott made the hit on the play. It's very, very close. Interestingly, there, the point of attack blocker was Jerry Carden, the freshman, and he did a very nice job of taking a man out and giving Teddy LeMay a little bit of room to run.
What we saw there is if LeMay had just had a little bit more speed, he might have had clear sailing down
Oh
the
yeah,
side.
oh yeah. Once again, that lack of foot speed is showing up. The lack of the quickness. That's where Patrick Hedge is a game breaker. He gets that play, he's going.
4th and about a foot. And the Huskies will go for it. They send Maher in motion. Straight eye. Give us the second man through LeMay, and I don't believe he has.
I don't believe he has it at all.
Tigers hit him hard. Not sure who exactly was on the hit. I think it was Bobby Hughes.
I'm gonna say that Bobby Hughes and Ash Edwards came in to make the real big initial. Bobby Hughes especially came in to make very, very good quick contact. Ash Edwards right there, and then a whole host of people to give the Tigers back the football, and once again, hand sitting with good field position out at its own 44-yard line.
Sort of unusual with just about a foot to go that he didn't sneak it or give it to the first man through, because LeMay doesn't have the quickness and the jumping ability to get over the top. It doesn't appear. High formation, Tigers take over. Simmons, one man to beat is number 82, Dalton, but Simmons slips down at about the 35-yard line.
I think Dennis got so excited that he was out there and he knew he only had one guy to beat, who was number 67, John Herbst, the defensive tackle, coming back trying to make a play. I think Dennis had stars in his eyes, and he slipped before he could make that cutback. But that was a very, very nice piece of running for Dennis Simmons.
And that play been working nicely for the Tigers here in the first half. 2.5 minutes to go. Thompson on the quick square out to Sullivan. They'll go one-on-one with Maher, and Maher drags him down, but not before Sullivan got inside the 25 to about the 23-yard line.
And that's a first down again for the Tigers. That time Sully just squared it up and out. Greg Maher playing off him a little bit in the deep part of the zone, and David Thompson hit him quickly. David Thompson has been throwing the ball very, very well tonight. He has not thrown anything that even resembles a bad pass so far.
First and 10, Tigers. Duncan's into the right, Sullivan to the left. Thompson gives it to Piggott, and he's hit hard. Number 77, Chris Saunders, mentioned his name a couple times, making the initial hit. Also in there, Hal, 67, right?
Yeah. John Herbst, co-captain for the Huskies, and he's another guy who's been in the wars before in the Morgan hand game. He knows what it's all about, and they did a little make-a-wish on him that time.
Loss of 1 on the play, 2nd and 11 for the Tigers. Thompson sprinting left, hits Sullivan. Coming up to make the hit is Carton, and he takes Sullivan down at about the 24-yard line.
It's a completed pass for a loss of 2 yards. That time, Tigers ran the same play to the other side, just with Sully running that short square out. He's open underneath on the play, long enough to catch the football. That time, Jerry Carton, the linebacker freshman, came up and made a very nice play.
Two-way freshman, quite unusual. 3rd down, 11 for the Tigers. Thompson will air this one out.
Sully's got open.
Down, out, and down to Duncanson, going for the right-hand corner, trying to beat Maher. Duncanson, beautiful over-the-shoulder catch.
And Duncanson, great play. Duncanson had double coverage early on that pattern, and I counted him right out because Sully had single coverage all the way, and Sully was also open in the end zone. David Thompson saw Dunk coming down the sideline. He went up, made a very, very pretty catch, and sophomore Scott Duncanson doing a hell of a job of catching the football.
Very nice. Thompson to Duncanson combination there for the TD, beating the 5'5" Maher in the right-hand corner of the end zone. It's 26-0 at this point with 1:13 to go first half. Simmons on to try the extra point.
Let's see what kind of problem Sully has with the snap this time. Got it down.
And I believe it was deflected this time, but it went through the uprights.
But that time Sully got the ball down clean, and Dennis Simmons came through. There was no timing problem, and even though Morgan got a pretty good pass rush, that was the best kick he's had all night.
So with 1:13 to go first half, it's 27-0. Hand Tigers in front of the Huskies of Clinton. Wheezy, as his friends call him, set the kick from the 40. This time,
banged it.
It's Maher to about the 14-yard line. Maher straight up the middle, big hole, but over there on the stop, Simmons at about the 36-yard line. Also over there was number 54, Pete Shaler.
Right, did a nice job on that play, closing down what appeared to be a pretty good-sized hole. Best kick Wiesbrock maybe has had all year in terms of banging it for distance and height. He got that ball up there pretty well.
Under a minute to go, first half. Huskies with the ball at about 36. Once again, they send Maher in motion. Pitches to LeMay, right side, cuts back a little bit. Ash Edwards over there on the hit at about the 42.
Interesting here that the Huskies are not even going to take a risk so far putting the ball up in the air. They just don't have a whole lot of confidence in the passing game. You'd like to see Solomon air it out one time to see what he can do. But obviously Dick Riley's seen him a couple more times than we have, and he doesn't think he's going to do it.
2nd down, 4. Pro set, right side, big hole. I believe that's Carton. He's taken on by two-hand tacklers, Sullivan and Piggott, and brought down to 40 on a crunch we can hear all the way up here.
Yeah, that was a heck of a hit, but there was also Jerry Carton caused as much of that collision as he got involved in. He did a nice job, and that's where you saw the quickness come through. This kid, I have a tendency to think that if he's going to be around for 3 more years, he's going to be a very, very fine tailback.
Seconds to go in the first half. Tigers in front, 27-0.
Philosophy question is: do you unveil some razzle dazzle down 4 touchdowns, or you just kind of grind it out and see what happens?
I think they'll probably just run it straight there. Well, a little bit of razzle dazzle. Reverse, looking to throw the ball downfield. No chance at all. As man well covered, Ash Edwards drags him out of bounds at about the 34, 2 seconds showing on the clock.
Give Tiger secondary credit there. Sully and Kevin Piggott both back on that particular play to avoid getting caught with what basically used to be called the old Statue of Liberty play, with the reverse with the pass on the end of it. That's when we used to do in the old neighborhood games, playing 6-on-6 or something.
Campanero was the man that was looking to throw it downfield for the Huskies. In the Middletown game, I'd say, according to the papers anyway, about 5,000 or so people tonight. Hal, you want to take a guess?
I'm going to guess maybe half that. Maybe not even.
I was thinking about 2,000 at the most, actually. LeMay, big hole up the middle. And he's taken down inside the 25, last play of the first half. Sullivan on the tackle. So the first half has ended, a productive one for the Tigers, Hal.
Certainly a productive one for the Tigers, exactly what they had to do. A fairly quick one in terms of time, and Hand is up 27-0.
Chris Wallach with Hal Levy. Second half of football between the Hand Tigers and Morgan Huskies just about set. Sullivan and Piggott are deep. And the kick squibs down at about the 25, takes a bounce straight up in the air. Kevin Piggott fields it up over the 30. 35-yard line taken down. Kevin Piggott's done a nice job all year, Hal, running back kicks.
Oh, yeah, he's always a threat to break it. As a matter of fact, I thought he had a shot on that one. I also thought that the return was set up one way and the hole was actually the other way. The hole was more left than it was right, and he had to return middle but towards the right-hand side, and the hole was more towards the left-hand side there, and it was a huge one. It was probably about 20 yards wide.
Tigers showing their starting offense. In the backfield, a little change from last week. Simmons is the fullback, and Simmons hit hard by 2 or 3 Morgan tacklers up to about the 37-yard line. Pick up a couple, pick up 2nd and 8.
Chris Saunders, number 77, was the guy who got up off the bottom of the pile there. He's been on a few hits tonight. 1-yard gain for the Tigers, who would like to reestablish something here and see if they can't put this one away.
27-0 Tigers, if you've just tuned in. Duncanson on the pass completion to about the 41-yard line.
Greg Meyer out there on the hit. That time again, Morgan playing that zone back a little bit, and as a result, Duncanson had a little bit of room underneath. That little 5-yard square out's been open all night long for the Tigers to throw to.
3rd down 5 for the Tigers. First possession of the second half. High formation. Thompson pumps, looks for the down, out, and down, has Duncanson. And once again, the defensive back for the Morgan Huskies had their back to the play.
Right, that was Jess Selmont, the quarterback, was over there on that play. Scott Duncanson did a very fine job. That was an eye contact read play where Dunk had run a square out pattern. David Thompson saw him, kind of motioned him a little bit deeper with his head and kind of pump faked one time. Dunk picked it up, went deep, and took the pass in stride. Nice catch over the shoulder. David Thompson laid the ball there very softly. Nice pass.
Peter Metz into the ball game at tailback. Duncanson splits right. Sullivan splits way out to the left. Thompson straight back, looking deep across the middle. Sullivan comes back for it, and it appears he trapped it at about the 20.
Yes, he did. I thought the official started to reach in his pocket on that, and he didn't. I thought there might have been a pass interference. I thought there might have been a bump downfield on that play. Apparently it wasn't called. But that time, Thompson caught Morgan a little bit in some single coverage. Duncanson had single coverage on this side. Sully had broken in between the coverage on that side, was open. Pass was thrown a tad short.
Carries 27 yards. Dennis Simmons, 3 carries, 36
Second down, 10. 10:05 to go, third quarter. Madison Surfland, nice evening for football. Hasn't rained up to this point, rained most of the day. Duncanson, once again, as Maher plays soft on him, takes the ball down to about the 36-yard line. Pick up of about 5 for the Tigers.
And that's the first time all night he's really had a man in his face when he's been trying to throw the ball. The hand backs, Kevin Piggott and Dennis Simmons, have done a nice job of picking off on-rushing Morgan linemen. That time they finally had a man through. Thompson maybe didn't get as much time as he wanted to throw the ball, had to unload his short, but he hit it right on the money.
Thompson over Siani, sprints left, throws the ball deep for Nye, and it's almost picked off by Dalton back inside the 10-yard line, and then Nye had Maher one-on-one for a minute, and Dalton came over, looked like 6'4", 6'5" against 5'5".
Right, Timmy Nye had about a foot on him, but again, that time David Thompson backside end came across, and David Thompson was getting a tad of pressure when he had to throw the ball, put it up into the wind, and this time he threw it a little bit short, and Nye couldn't use that height to his complete advantage. Interesting call here, 4th down 5. See what they try to do.
Thompson sends 2 receivers to the left side, sprints that way, finds Duncanson wide open at the 15-yard line, and Duncanson tried to run before he caught it. No one between himself and the goal line, and he's 6.
Ouch, that was 6 points, and it's maybe the first time in 7 games that Scott Duncanson has dropped the ball. He usually has very, very sure hands. He was about as wide open as a receiver ever praised to get. Nothing but green in between him and the goal line, and he maybe took his eyes off the ball for just a second to look around, hit him on the fingertips, and didn't stay there.
1st and 10 from the 36-yard line for the Huskies. First possession, second half. Maher right side. Nye has a hold of his shirt, finally drags him down at about the 40-yard line.
And that time, that was just a matter of strength. Timmy Nye, a foot taller and about 70 pounds heavier than Greg Maher, and just managed to grab a hold of a piece of his shirt, basically lift him up and say, son, you're not going too much further.
Nye got up kind of slowly on the play. Into the ball game, Dave Green, number 60, and right tackle. In motion, Maher, right to left. LeMay over the right side up to about the 42-yard line. And interesting enough, first half statistics, Morgan Huskies rushed the ball out for 114 yards, only attempted 1 pass. It was incomplete. No yards in the air for the Huskies, but 114 yards. That's surprising a statistic.
Yeah, it is, especially, you know, when you look at the football game, it did not look like Morgan had that much yardage. Huskies had a couple big plays right at the end of the half, and I think that maybe padded the total out a little bit.
3rd down, 3. And they send wide receivers split right and left, split backfield. Selma gives the ball to LeMay, and he's stacked up, tries to pull forward, way short of the first down, maybe picked up 1, and they'll need 2 on 4th down.
And once again, Teddy LeMay just banging it in there, trying to crunch forward for the yardage. You've got a 4th and a very short 2. It's closer to 1 really than 2. You've got to get just across the 45-yard line. They're at the 44 right now. And Huskies going to drop back in a punt formation, try to play a little bit of field position here.
7:20 to go, high snap. LeMay fields it, almost blocked by Edwards. Piggott fielded at about the 27, no fair catch. And spins, picks up an extra 3 or 4 up to about the 32-yard line where the Tigers will take over.
Dangerous play there for Kevin Piggott because Jess Selma was right there, but Piggott decided maybe he had a chance to run it and took the opportunity to do so. Not exactly the kind of play that you always want to see. The snap was kind of a pop fly on that, and Ted LeMay did a great job to get the ball off with pressure all over him.
32-yard line for the Tigers, 27-0 they lead. Once again, Simmons on that quick hit up the middle, which has been working nicely. This time picks up about 3 yards, bring up a 2nd and 7 for the Tigers. Tigers 73 yards on the ground first half, 133 in the air, 206 total yards. Thompson with a nice percentage the first half, 7 for 10 as far as completions going. And Nye had 2 for 44, Duncanson 2 for 30, Sullivan had 3 for 59 yards.
And each one of them caught a touchdown pass. And David Thompson ran for the 4th one.
Thompson to Simmons, started up the middle, tried to go to the left side, picks up maybe a yard.
Brian Schenk on the tackle.
3rd down and about 5.5 for the Tigers.
I said number 53, Jim Partridge, a new name in there, 6'3", 215-pounder, coming in to make part of the hit on that play.
Third down, 5, Tigers. Thompson fakes to give up the middle, comes across and hits Nye. And Nye gets enough for the first down. Dalton takes him down at about the 44-yard line.
And that time Thompson had pressure. He had a couple of hands on his jersey. Chris Saunders, number 77, Neil Dunn, number 83, both in there putting pressure on him. And Thompson stepped up into the pocket, found Timmy Nye. Nye took the ball in, dove forward, got the first down. Nice play.
5:20 to go, 3rd quarter. 2 receivers go to the left side, Nye tight right. Thompson hits Duncanson across midfield, slips one tackler, and take him down at about the 46-yard line. And that same number we called, you just called a minute ago, over on the net.
Now, Paul Nichols downstairs is saying that Brian Schenk, who we had listed as number 50, is actually wearing number 53, made the play.
That's right, Brian Schenk, left guard on offense also. Well, they're going to measure. It had appeared that he had the first down, and
we were right. Half the length of the football. Eagle eyes of Chris Wallach right on the spot once again. I don't think you've missed one yet this year.
I'm glad. It means the rest of me is probably still all right, too, if the eyes haven't gone yet.
I thought the legs went first.
First and 10.
I can't get first to third in softball anymore.
Piggott, left side, stacked up after pickup of a couple. And for the first time this evening, we see Bill Leckie trotting onto the field, replacing Scott Duncanson,
who's had a big night, done a very, very fine job catching the football. He dropped that one in the open, but he's caught everything else that's come his way.
And Leckie will split out wide to the right side.
Big night for Leckie because he's getting a chance to play against the kids that he played football with for 3 years.
And Thompson, straight back, across the middle, has Leckie at the 30. Leckie cuts back up to about the 25-yard line. And dragged down there. Dalton, Maher.
He had about 5 of his old friends there to greet him on that play.
Hi, Billy, how you doing? Boom. Nice catch by Billy Leckie.
And another good throw by David Thompson, who was maybe, as far as putting the ball on the money, doing as well tonight as he's done all year. He has not thrown the ball away very much at all tonight.
And Hal, I understand there's scouts here tonight from what college?
University of Miami.
University of Miami.
And I understand he thought it was Nome, Alaska.
First and 10.
There he is.
Post, Nye.
Great catch by Timmy Nye, and a nice run for the TD.
He's way in for the touchdown. Thompson had thrown the ball a little behind.
A little bit behind him. Timmy Nye made a beautiful, beautiful turnaround catch, and then just went bull to go across the goal line. Finally got knocked back out, but he had crossed the plane of the goal line, maybe as determined to run as you'd ever want to see a high school football player make. Tremendous play by Timmy Nye.
Being a receiver myself, I know when you catch that ball down around the 3, you do not want to be tackled there. You want a 20, 30, 40-yard catch to go for the score. Split ends want the TDs.
That's what they pay off on, isn't it, right?
Simmons' kick is straight through the uprights. So with 3:48 to go here in the third quarter, it's the Han Tigers 34, and the Morgan Huskies are still scoreless. Brock set the kick. Maher, the deep man for the Huskies, standing at about his own 15, and that's about where Brock kicked it last time. Had a nice one last time, and this time not bad. Line drive, fielded at the 20 by LeMay, over the 30, up to the 35, to about the 37. Pete Shaler had a shot at him back inside the 35.
Number 20, Peter Metz, getting up off the bottom of the pile. I think he had a good hand in making the tackle there. Teddy LeMay cut in front of Maher on that play, take the ball and cut it upfield. John Wiesbrock starting to get a little bit of height and distance on his kickoffs, which is an impressive thing to see, because as a sophomore, you have to figure that he's probably going to be the guy doing it next year. It's got to be a nice, encouraging sign.
And the Tigers, they'll keep that starting defense intact with a 34-0 lead. 3:20 and counting, third quarter. Pro set. Selmon gives to LeMay, left side, stacked up, and then pulls his way for about 3 yards.
Todd Vince there made a heck of a play, because what he wound up doing was to stand up the Morgan guard on the play. Number 62, Chris Sabatello, stood him up, drove him back into the hole, and just totally blocked the hole up. Teddy LeMay had to bounce off him, started to come to the outside, and it cut down what could have been a bigger gain.
Second down, they call it 8. Once again, split backfield. Receivers split out wide both sides, although they're not using them. This time it's Carden over the 40, coming up, missing the tackle is Thompson. Carden puts a hit on Sullivan, and he's dragged out of bounds at about the 46. A couple other hand tacklers over there to help out. And,
Jerry Carden,
freshman.
He's a very, very impressive freshman. He just basically, David Thompson came up to make the hit. He just shrugged him off, squared up his shoulders, made Thompson miss, came to the outside, and got himself about 6 yards on the play. Again, he's the kind of a kid that for 3 more years you're going to be looking at, and you're going to be seeing a very good football player.
As we mentioned earlier at the halftime, surprising that he's not carrying the ball a little bit more here this evening. As an interesting setup here for the Huskies.
They ain't got nobody to throw to, hand to.
The backfield, so I guess it'll either be a run or a pass. Quarterback keep over midfield to the 45. Selmont doing some nifty running, got inside the 40 to about the 39-yard line.
Looked like watching Brigham Young in New Mexico last night, where they had every single weird formation you could ever think of. New Mexico was rushing 2 people and keeping 8 back or 9 back on pass defense. They were doing all kinds of strange things. And they had
still, what, 48 to nothing?
It was still 48. They did have one play that made my all-time football highlight film for anybody who saw it. They have about a 5'7" defensive back, and on an extra point play, he jumped over the center, came into the backfield, and then jumped back across the center to go back on sides, trying to mess up the extra point. It had to be the funniest thing you'll ever see in your life.
Minute 38 to go here in the third quarter. Maher in motion. I formation. Give is to LeMay, right side. Ash Edwards on the tackle. LeMay short of the 35-yard line.
Teddy LeMay basically that time just broke through the initial containment, Timmy Nye, and got it to the outside. Nye getting up a little bit slowly right now, but he broke that out for about 4 yards on what could have basically been a no-gain play.
Chris Hevesy now into the ballgame at right defensive end. About the only change we've seen for the Tigers on defense for the most part, besides Green shuttling in once in a while. Split backfield for Selmont. He sprints to the left. He'll keep it over the 35. Down inside the 30, slips a couple tackles, and takes the ball up to about the 26-yard line. Tigers on the last few plays had a little trouble tackling Mr. Selmont.
Yeah, he's a pretty shifty runner. It's surprising that he hasn't really run the ball more. That time he made another very good tackler for the Tigers. Matt Sullivan missed him early, and finally Thompson and Simmons came over, knocked him out of bounds. But it's not that he's like throwing a whole lot of moves or throwing a whole lot of speed. He's just a very good, balanced, well-balanced runner who doesn't go down.
And a first down for the Huskies. Ball at the 26-yard line. They show power. Strong right. They go that way. Maher gets the carry. Tries to hurdle one tackler. Hit hard. Jumping over Nye. And down to about the 25, maybe 1 yard.
Dennis Simmons put a fairly large hit on Greg Meyer on that play coming across. He's the guy you saw basically lower the boom first, and Kevin Piggott came in afterwards. Dennis Simmons nailed him.
So we've had 7 points scored here in the third quarter. It is now 34-0 Tigers. Second down 9, Carden. Inside the 25, down to about the 22-yard line. Jerry Carden again picking up quite a few yards whenever he carries the ball.
Yep, and this is definitely the Huskies' deepest penetration of the night. It's nice to see Morgan, even though the Huskies down 34-0, have not given up on this ball game at all. They're still in there fighting, still in there playing their football game, which is basically try to run the ball, try to control the ball, try to do what you can. They're starting to do that. Jerry Carden certainly having a big part in it.
Third down and 6 for the Huskies. May, big hole, 15 down to about the 12-yard line. And another first down for the Huskies.
Good run by Teddy LeMay, but once again, you just see that lack of the one thing that he really needs, which is the quickness, because that was a situation where he put that little hip fake inside, started to go outside, and he just didn't have the quickness to get there before 2 people knocked him down, because otherwise he maybe had a touchdown on that play.
Dave Green back in at right tackle. Interesting statistic when you check the papers tomorrow will be the Huskies will probably rush for over 200 yards in this ball game. The pitch goes to LeMay inside the 15, 10, 5, pulling his way. TD. Very close to the touchdown. Inside the 1, it appears from here. Teddy LeMay.
I think he has a first down, though. If he does not have, no, he doesn't have the TD, but I believe he's got a first down, which is going to give Morgan 4 cracks from inside the 1-yard line. Huskies probably ought to break the shutout right here.
Does not look like it would be any closer to the goal line.
I thought he got it in, but apparently he kind of curled his body up when the tackle was made, and I thought maybe he'd stretched it out far enough to get it in.
First down goal inside the 1, actually a couple inches to go. The pitch to LeMay, and he'll get in. Slipping a tackle Thompson at about the 3, and Teddy LeMay's run hard tonight. And much deserving of that.
Certainly
touchdown.
Deserves the touchdown at this point. He's carried the ball a lot of times, and he's taken his share of hits. That time he shrugged off with David Thompson. Thompson kind of knifed through from that rover spot, tried to catch him in the backfield, missed him, and LeMay had clear sailing to the goal line.
Had Thompson even been able to get a better hit or a better hold on him, I'm not sure he could have kept LeMay from the touchdown.
Teddy LeMay is a big, strong young man, 6 foot, 205 pounds, and he's a good football player.
And actually, we were talking before about the fact that he's not that fast, but for his size, he's basically pretty fast.
Yes, he does. He gets the job done.
They go for 2. Here, the pitch goes to LeMay. They'll try the same play they scored a touchdown on before. This time he has to run a little wider, but he goes in. So LeMay getting all 8 points on that drive for the Huskies. And with 10-10 to go in the ball game, it's the Tigers 34 and the Huskies 8. Number 55, Mike Kukta set the kick, and I believe that's Barney Kukta's son.
He's another freshman.
25 or 15-yard line. Pickett, big hole.
Bingo!
40. May go all the way. And Pickett finally dragged down at about the 40-yard line, spinning and joking and doing all sorts of things, slipping tackles.
Number 74, Frank McDermott, basically got the first hand on him, slowed him up, knocked him off balance just long enough so that eventually the defense caught up with him, because otherwise it certainly looked like Kevin Pickett was gone.
I'll tell you, I could watch reruns of Kevin Pickett on kickoff returns because every single time he touched the ball on the kickoff, it's exciting.
Isn't he fun?
Tigers, they take timeout. They're second. We'll have 1 left. It's 9:51 to go. Chris Wallach with Hal Levy from the Madison Surf Club. And Hal, we were talking before off mic about playoff points and what the loss to Middletown did to the Tigers as far as playoff points in Double M.
Well, basically what it did was it put Hand right back into the pack right now with Wilton and Darien and then Newtown not too far behind. But it's going to be very, very interesting this week. Darien's got Staples. Darien beat Stanford Catholic last week. The papers, by the way, a lot of the papers had that score wrong. Darien won that game 33-27. A lot of papers had it the other way. This week, Darien has a very good Staples team led by Lance Lonergan, an outstanding quarterback. Darien gets by that one. Darien's got Wilton next week, and right now Wilton and Darien running 1-3 in that point system with Hand second. So the Tigers are sitting there, I guess, kind of hoping that maybe Staples knocks off Darien this week, then Darien beats Wilton next week to put Hand back on top. But right now, it looks like if Hand wins out, one of those two teams is going to beat the other one, knock the other one back a little bit, and it would probably be either a Hand Darien or a Hand Wilton game if that happens.
Sullivan now in at quarterback. His first play of the game is a pass intended for Duncanson at about the 38, falls incomplete. Interesting, Hal, that number 1 Ansonia was knocked off by Torrington, and then a team that the Tigers played here, Bunnell, came back to beat Torrington last week.
I think maybe Torrington caught Ansonia a little bit on an off week, and I think it also shows the parity in high school football this year. There is just no single dominating team. We have Peter Metz maybe going for 6.
And number 19,
Billy Harrison.
Just into the ball game, I believe.
Yes, he is. Bill Harrison just came into the ballgame. Billy Harrison has played a little bit of football for Morgan. He's a junior. He's been a quarterback for the Huskies. Did not play early in the ballgame, but is in right now defensively, and he saved a touchdown on that play. Peter Metz broke a play at the line of scrimmage, and he appeared to be gone until Harrison came over to make the hit.
Ball inside the 15.
He's got a man.
And it's knocked down. Looking for Wiesbrock, I believe, or 9.
No, I think that he had his eyes on Matt Sullivan open deep across the middle, and number 67, John Herb, 6 foot, 205-pound senior co-captain for the Huskies, got his hands up and knocked the ball down at the line of scrimmage. But Sully cutting across, he was running a post pattern from the far side, was open.
Are you talking about 9, number 9? Is that who you saw, 9? Sullivan is at quarterback.
Oh, you're right.
Simmons, the ball carry up to about the 13.
It was a single digit. It must have been Timmy Nye, yes.
I thought it was either Nye or Wiesbrock in the middle he was looking for. And nice defensive play. It may have something to do with the fact that Matt Sullivan's a little bit shorter.
Yeah, and also it's really, I believe it's Matt's first action all year at quarterback. Because in several other games that David Thompson's come out, Hevesy has played quarterback.
That's correct. Saw Sullivan working at it this week a little bit. And Duncanson catches the ball. Sullivan on the run. It's Duncanson in the right-hand corner, and that's got to make Scott feel good after missing a chance at another touchdown earlier.
And he made a nice catch on that. He had to twist his body backwards. Sully throwing on the dead run. Got the ball a little bit low. He put it where he wanted to, which was right to Scott Duncanson. But Dunk had to twist his body in the air to make the catch. Did a very, very nice job of it, hauled it in for his second touchdown reception of the night. And he's having a real big night catching the football.
And we're talking earlier about the fact that Matt Sullivan's a great athlete. We saw a lot of it there. Rolling to his right, throwing the ball on the run, off balance, complete for the touchdown, and Simmons on to make it 41-8. Flags on the play.
The extra point is good, but there's a flag on the play.
I believe this one's going to go against Hand, and there might have been there's a procedure penalty on Hand.
Illegal procedure against Hand.
And he's going to have to kick it over again from 5 yards further back.
Also, Hal, getting back to Torrington, Bunnell, and that conversation. Tomorrow, Bunnell will be playing Foreign, the next opponent for the Tigers. And we may see just exactly how good Foreign is, because we know what Bunnell's capable of.
Certainly, Bunnell, a very good football team. Bunnell is a team that may go 8-1-1 and have to sit home because... Did he make it? Yes, he did.
Simmons' kick is good. 41-8 Tigers. Go ahead, Hal.
It's a situation with Bunnell where Bunnell is in a division with Middletown, Ledyard, Watertown, all undefeated right now, and Walcott also undefeated. Maloney is in that division, and Bunnell's one loss and a tie. The tie coming against East Lyme, and the loss, of course, coming to the Tigers here in an outstanding football game that was won by Hand in the last minute of play. Has put Bunnell down into about 6th spot there. And even though Bunnell did knock off now previously #1 in the state and undefeated Torrington, it still has not helped Bunnell climb high enough to get up into a position where it might get into the playoffs. You'd have to guess that Bunnell would certainly be a favorite in that ball game, though, against Foreign.
Foreign 3-3 going into Saturday's game with Bunnell. They beat Morgan last week, 34-13. Wiesbrock kicks the ball. It bounced down at the 20. Maher touches it back to about the 13, picks it up there over the 15-20. And Hevesy takes him out of bounds at about the 25-yard line.
Knocked out of bounds by Chris Hevesy around the 25.
And Tigers right now going... Some first teamers certainly still in there defensively, starting to make a few replacements here and there. I think it's more a matter of attrition more than anything else. With the number of injuries that Hand has right now, there just aren't that many bodies left to put into a football game.
Also the fact that a couple times they've substituted freely on defense toward the end of the game. Not that I'm saying it could happen here, but I don't think Coach Ciotti is too happy with with some of the points being given up by the second and third teams sometimes. So he'll leave most of the starters in there. Selmont sprints right. Nye gets a hold of about the 15, can't drag him down. Finally taken down at about the 19 by Simmons. Changes on defense, if we can spot them for you.
Dennis Simmons on the tackle. A loss of 5.
Number 24 is now in for the Tigers, who I do not have on my roster.
Neither do I.
Now, Joey Rubler, I know, is 28. It's a possibility that 24 could be him. Wiesbrock in, also into the ball game. Dave Green playing much of the second half at right tackle. Maher goes in motion, 2nd and 16. LeMay almost didn't get a hold of the ball. 25, Sullivan drags him down at about the 27-yard line.
By Sullivan. Gain of 7 to the Morgan 27. It'll be 3rd and 8.
I'm still trying to figure out who 24 is, and I don't have any kind of a clue right now.
Pete Shaler into the ball game at the nose guard.
Wiesbrock's playing out here on the near side defensively. Still don't know who 24 is.
FSC at right defensive end. Gary Beeson injured for this one. Number 87 is on the sideline. And nowhere on that play for the Huskies. Carton, the ball carrier, bringing up a 4th down.
And Justin Murphy, number 66, in there on the tackle.
Gain of 1 to the 28. It'll be 4th and 7.
At this point in the ball game, 41-8, 6.5 minutes to go. You got to wonder whether the Huskies are going to really punt or not. Even though Teddy LeMay going back into punt formation, they may just bang it away. But you got to figure that there may be something coming up here too.
LeMay standing at 12 yards deep, and he will boot it away. Bounds down at the 40-yard line, and it'll be down there.
Down the ball at the hand 40.
Selmont down there.
Jess Selmont does a very nice job on special teams. He's been involved in a lot of coverage. He's usually the first man downfield making a play on punts and kickoffs for the Huskies.
Offense, defense, special teams.
48 minutes, it's got to be a little bit tiring.
Hevesy will now be the signal caller for the Tigers.
Now, Matt Sullivan got his shot, threw a touchdown pass. Let's see now what Chris Hevesy does.
Peter Metz, Simmons, 30 and 20 in the backfield. And a pitch goes to Metz, cuts back, hurdles one tackler, picks up a couple.
That was a situation where Dave Millard just got a tiny little piece of the defensive end, but it was enough to give Peter Metz room to run. And Peter's basic situation right now is that he just doesn't have the varsity experience. This is a chance to get him some playing time, because he's a guy who's going to come in and be a very, very big key for the Tigers next year. You know, the heir apparent to the tailback spot that's been held down by some very good football players over the course of years at hand.
Wiesbrock also into the ball game now, along with Vibert. Simmons, the ball carrier, out to about the 47-yard line.
Here we're seeing, you know, this is some people we're going to be seeing all next year too, with Hevesy at quarterback and Simmons at fullback, Metz in the backfield, and some of the linemen we're seeing now are people that we're going to be seeing here next year, and it's nice to see them get a shot to play, especially in a game like this. You know, it's a little bit out of hand in terms of score, but it's still the Morgan game. It's still a very, very big football game in a lot of people's eyes.
And Bryce now in at fullback. Hevesy sprints out to the left. Intended for Palladino. Good coverage by Selmont.
And if Dino was a little bit taller than about 5'4", or whatever he is, maybe if he was about Timmy Nye's size, he might have had a chance to catch that ball. But he put a flat-out dive on the football.
Well, I know sometimes they juice up the height and weight on the program, on the roster. I don't believe they've done that in this case, because they have Palladino at 5'3", 108.
And I'll tell you what, that's 5'3" and 108's worth of football player. He loves it.
And Simmons will do the punting off the side of his foot. And it bounds out of bounds at about the 31-yard line with 4:09 to go.
this point now, we're starting to see the second teamers come in there a little bit more defensively. Everybody getting a shot to play, which is good. Again, it's the Morgan game, and it's also a very, very nice way to bounce back from the defeat last week at Middletown. This is something that, again, you know, the kids who are seniors now, last time they lost a regular season game, they were freshmen. It's nice to see them bounce back this way and be able to do this kind of a job against their traditional rival.
Selmon gives to LeMay, who's still in there. He pulls his way forward to about the 34.
Sugar's on the stop for that.
Second down, 7 for the Huskies. And the give is to LeMay. Slips 3 or 4 tackles. Finally gang tackled by the Tigers, but not until after he crossed the 40.
See the spot.
May have a first down.
Yeah, see, wait till we see the spot. It depends on where they do spot it. He may have the first down. Kind of a sloppy spot, but they give the Huskies the first down. Nobody even bothered to put it down. They just left it where Teddy LeMay dropped the ball.
They didn't look at it that closely. The score 41-8, 3 minutes left. First down 10. Maher splits to the right. Selmon will roll left, trying to run. And he'll step out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. And in for the Tigers now, Peter Newcomb, number 80. Don't believe I've called Peter's name this season.
No, I don't think you have. I'll tell you, interesting thing there, Teddy LeMay was kind of spread out on the field, but he kind of threw a diving block that gave Selmon a chance to even get back to the line of scrimmage and gain himself half a yard on that play. He is a young man who's played a heck of a football game. Chris, I don't know if we mentioned it or not, but next week's game is going to be a rarity for Han. It's going to be the first time all year the Tigers have actually played an afternoon game under the sun instead of under the lights. And the reason there is that Foreign decided that that playing a game under the lights at Milford High School, which is where the game was going to be, or Law, I guess it was the old Law High School field, was going to be kind of an away game. And as a result, decided last week that the game was going to be played on Saturday afternoon. Because of PSATs in the morning, it's going to mean kind of a long day for a lot of the underclassmen at hand, and we're not expecting the game to get underway probably much before 2:30, which means that they may have a little trouble getting that one in before dark because we're going back to Eastern Standard Time this weekend.
That's right, so make sure you note the change and don't go down there on Friday night. It'll be Saturday afternoon, Han and Foreign, about 2:30. Selmon picked up some nice yards on the last play. LeMay this time over the right side. Pass Wiesbrock. Millard trying to track him down. 20, 15, 10, 5, and Teddy LeMay will go all the way 51 yards with 2.5 minutes to go. LeMay gets his second touchdown of the evening, and LeMay has all of the Morgan Husky points up to this point, 14 of them, 41-14 now, Tigers.
Bet me they go for 2, and bet me he carries the ball again.
Well, he'd be deserving of it for sure. Got to credit the Huskies, though. They've played hard, and they've continued to move the ball on the Tiger defense for most of the game.
And again, this is also a credit to the work that Dick Riley has done in instilling some pride and discipline here in a team that has always had it. Dick Riley took it over from Bob Bergokas, and he certainly kept that tradition going in terms of having a tough, hard-nosed football team.
Well, LeMay is not in the ball game now, so I guess he can't get all 16 of them. Maher will try to get the extra 2, and he'll go in. So Maher gets 2 more for the Huskies. So the score now, the Han Tigers 41 and the Morgan Huskies 60. Now, as I mentioned earlier, number 55, Mike Cookta doing the kicking, and I believe Marty Cookta, played some softball with him over the years, is still a Madison policeman. And his son doing the kicking here for the Morgan Huskies, and he really gets a leg into it, drives Sullivan back to the 15-yard line, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, and Sullivan up to about the 43-yard line.
And Sully was about one step away from breaking that particular kickoff. Jerry Carden, the freshman, number 32, got a hand on him and kind of slowed him down a little bit. It's almost the same thing that happened last time with Kevin Piggott, where he was about a half a step away from breaking it. Somebody got a hand in there just to kind of slow him down. Cooked is a big young man. As a freshman, he's 6 foot, 190 pounds. I would have a tendency, considering he wears number 55, to think he's probably going to be a lineman for the Huskies, and he'll probably be a very good one.
And some of these freshmen you're hearing about tonight did not even play in the freshman game today, in which the Morgan Huskies beat the hand freshmen 21-0. And on that freshman team, a couple of nice running backs, a good quarterback, and a couple of real big boys, a tackle and a tight end at about 6'4", 6'5". So as you mentioned earlier, Hal, some good things should come from this Husky team in the next couple of years.
Yeah, certainly so. There's a play right there where, again, Chris Hevesy kind of waved a little bit deeper. Wiesbrock coming downfield, but then Hevesy didn't quite wait for Wiesbrock to get loose before he unloaded the ball on that play. He might have had 6 if he'd waited about another 2 steps to throw it.
Hevesy sprints left out to Wiesbrock at the 45 and inside Morgan Husky territory at about the 49-yard line.
Campanaro, the number 84, the man making the hit on that play. You know, this is not a case for anybody who's thinking about it of rubbing it in at all. It's just a chance for Chris Hevesy, who's a sophomore, who hasn't gotten a whole lot of playing time, to get a chance to throw the football a little bit. He's throwing the ball short, not necessarily long. Just a chance for him to show what he can do, more than a situation of taking a 41-16 game and trying to score one more. This is something we have not had a whole lot of penalties tonight. We've got one right here, minute 8 to go. We had an offside penalty on Morgan, which is going to give Hand a first down in Morgan territory. But it's been a very, very clean game and a very, very penalty-free, mistake-free game. We've dealt with no turnovers, except the one early on the fake punt that Thompson had the intercepted pass on. But for the most part, it's been a situation of a clean, well-played football game.
Under a minute to play, Bryce at the fullback, Metz at the tail, and Bryce gets the carry, picks up a couple to about the 43-yard line.
Stop near the line of scrimmage. Gain of 1, it'll be 2nd and 9.
And they'll give them short. Scoreboard shows pickup of 2. Paul Nichols says 1, so we'll call a pickup of 1.5. 2nd and 8.5.
He Metz the ball carrier.
And Metz the ball carrier down to about the 42-yard line.
I doubt very much if we're going to have another snap here. We're down to 13 seconds to go, and you would have a tendency to think that the Tigers are, well, they may try to get one more in. Hevesy's bringing them up to the line of scrimmage quickly. 3, 2, 1, and he's not going to take the other snap. That is the end of the ball game. 41-16. Tigers doing a very nice job of coming back from the defeat against Middletown to up the record to 6-1. Morgan drops to 1-6. The other big thing that we hardly mentioned all night, Chris, this is a Shoreline Conference game, and with only 4 teams in the Shoreline Conference, and now 2-0 in the league, and having Guilford left on Thanksgiving Day for the Shoreline Conference title.
Of course, I know people will be seeing this game on Monday night, but as we speak, Friday night, tomorrow afternoon, will be North Branford and Guilford. And Guilford, they've won 4 games in a row after losing their first 2.
Right. The Indians starting to come on, starting to play some good football. Defensively have been very good all year, getting some great kicking, and starting to score a couple points here and there. And Guilford conceivably could come into that game with, you know, maybe 1 loss in its next 2. Could go 6-3, 7-2 coming into Thanksgiving Day. That could be a very, very big game.
So the Tigers have 4 in Xavier and Guilford left in the 1984 season.
Regular season. Let's amend that to say regular season, because Hand has still gone to the playoffs 4 years in a row. And right now we're looking at maybe Kennedy Stadium on Friday night, November 30th against Darien or Wilton. That's going to be my guesses on the site and the time and the opponent. And we'll see how close that one comes. Last time I made a prediction, I was about 14% right and about 86% wrong. So,
something the Tigers don't want to do is look past Foreign.
Certainly not.
Xavier, because Foreign is supposed to be a rebuilding year coming off a 2-8 season. They're 3-3 to this point, and anybody can beat the Tigers and vice versa on any given evening, and we're seeing that all over the state of Connecticut this year.
Certainly so. There's no single dominant team in the state, and you're seeing it right now. 7 weeks into the season, you look at the register poll, and nobody can quite figure out who's number one. I have my own opinion on that, and I think we saw him here last week, but the poll's been very split up. There's about 5 different teams that have been number one over the course of the season. There's no dominant team, and that includes the Tigers as well as everybody else. So you never know what's going to happen on any given day. Good football game for Han, though, coming back off the loss to Middletown. Tigers opened it up very quickly. Just 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. Timmy Nye, nice 29-yard reception from David Thompson, 7-0. Thompson comes back with an 18-yard run, and it's 13-0 still in the first quarter. Going into the second quarter, 6.5 minutes to go, and Matt Sullivan takes an 18-yard pass from David Thompson. Simmons adds the kick to make it 20-0, and then Scott Duncanson, the first of his 2 touchdowns of the night, 23-yard pass from Thompson with 1:13 to go. Simmons makes the kick, and it's 27-0 at halftime. In the third quarter, Timmy Nye makes a really, really fine catch and good run at the end of it on a 25-yard pass from Thompson. Simmons adds the kick. It's 34-0 with 3:48 to go. And then Morgan finally gets on the scoreboard. They had a first down and goal from inside the one. Teddy LeMay banged it in on the first down play and then added the 2-point conversion run to make it 34-8 with 10:10 to go in the ball game. Hand came back, and Dunk made a very nice twisting catch on a sprint-out pass from Matt Sullivan. Sullivan threw the ball on the dead run. Duncanson took the ball in the end zone, 15-yard pass play. Simmons adds the kick, and it is 41-8 with 8:38 to go. And then finally, Teddy LeMay breaks loose on a 51-yard run, and Greg Marr adds the 2-point conversion run with 2:30 to go to make the final score 41-16.
So that'll do it here from the Madison Surf Club. Don't forget next week's ball game. It's a Saturday afternoon one in Milford against Foreign High School. For Hal Levy, I'm Chris Wallach. Thanks for joining us from the Madison Surf Club. Once again, the final score, the 8th-ranked Han Tigers.
Han Tiger football is brought to you by a grant from First Federal Savings and Loan Association of Madison, serving the shoreline communities for 50 years.